So, gym related thing. I just got a notification on my phone. So I made a comment. Someone, some reel popped up and it was like when I walk by a tripod in the gym and it's that gif of Jason walking through and kicking that stereo or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And I posted on it. I was like, I record myself for me or I record my lifts for myself and my coach. And I'm sorry that my bench press is more than your squat and it makes you mad. And I got a lot of comment. And you'd be surprised how many of them were positive.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's always good when you get some positivity on the internet.
Yeah, right. I was fully expecting to be hated on, but the very first comment was like, "You're an actual athlete. You're not the problem." And I was like, "All right, cool, yeah."
Like this.
And then someone else said, "If as long as you're not making TikToks showing off your ass, we don't gotta we don't got no beef." And then someone was like, "How much do you weigh? I've seen some of your videos. You're a beast." And I was like, "What?" And then someone was like, "How do you know you can bench more than him?" And I was like, "Your grammar's bad." But I was just kind of like, if you're going around getting mad about people having a tripod, you probably just don't squat much. And someone was like, real athletes training at a gym specific for their needs. And I'm like, yeah. And then this comment that I just got was like, yeah, I was going to respond some wild shit to this. And then I saw your profile and you're a swole ass dude. So continue on. And I was like, yeah. That was surprising. I fully expected some hate, but no, it was mostly positive. So it's pretty funny.
I'm glad you got some positivity out of it. You know who, like, honest to God, next to impossible to get pure positivity?
Lane Norton. I love Lane Norton, but he is not a positive person.
No, man, he is not. I was saying, man, it's rare to go look at women who you respect and their comments.
Oh God, it's terrible. Every single women athlete or
even girls talking about other girls.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking brutal.
I'm imagining it's much worse in the bodybuilding community than the powerlifting community, or I guess any gym.
I think, we talked about this because we talked about it in our own training, but those lines are starting to get blurred more and more all the time. That's harder and harder on women, especially our heavier weight girls.
Yeah. I mean,
not everybody I've said this before. I want to be fitter. I want to be a better body fat percentage, but I have no interest in being skinny.
No. I haven't won.
And it's completely okay if a woman's now she needs to be healthy,
right,
for her own sake. But I'm completely cool with a woman like saying, "Hey, I just feel better, bigger."
Yeah.
Like, if that's you, then that's cool. I mean, I ain't got a problem with it. Like, as long as you and your doctor are on base with it, as long as everything's checking out, we ain't got to be in the gym to lose weight.
Yeah.
Nobody's forcing you to do that or to look a certain way. Like, some of us legitimately get in there to. I made the comment to somebody the other day in the gym. My biggest concern is being the strongest person in it.
Right.
It's not the best looking person in it.
Mm-hmm.
Best looking be damned. Like, it's not in my genetic code to be the best looking person. I mean, I could be 4% body fat and 300 pounds, and I'm not going to be the best looking person in the gym. I'm fucking ugly. It just is what it is, but like, I'm not concerned with that.
Right.
I want to be healthier. I want to have some longevity, but I don't really care to be thin.
I think,
you know what I mean? And I think it's okay if women don't want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, there's multiple different body types, multiple different genetic types. You see it everywhere. The biggest thing is your health markers, right? Yeah. Like that's the big thing.
Your health markers are good, and you're happy.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, and this is something coming from the Mark Bell podcast, couldn't recite you word for word, but basically they were saying, even if you have really good health markers now and you are overweight, that doesn't mean they're not going to degrade as you get older.
That's absolutely true. And that's what's happened to me. That's fine. But I recognize that. And Easter holiday's been a little rough, can't lie to you. And we've had a stressful week. So cut's not going ideal, but that's why I'm cutting. I made the decision to cut a couple of times a year to clean bulk back into my weight class to be a better powerlifter.
Yep.
But also because I have a little girl now and I want to see good health markers.
Yep.
The next time I'm 300 pounds, I want it to be a little bit better, a little healthier than the last time I was 300 pounds.
Do you want to be 300 pounds?
I think, I'll be honest with you, I think this is, I wouldn't say the fault of growth, but you've heard me say it before. The lightest I've been on, even on really hard diets since being on growth hormones, 268.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be really, really hard for me to be in the, I think I could be in the 250s, but especially like a lot of discipline, I could be in the 250s, but I think it'd be really, really hard for me to weigh. It would probably, for me to get a healthy body weight, I'd have to be in the 240s probably.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily blood work or other health markers, just body weight. I'd probably have to be in the 240s. If you go by BMI, they say I'm supposed to weigh 180 pounds. When nobody's concerned about that. But, like, I don't think I can, like, post growth hormone. And I still take supplements that support growth hormones. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's not growth, but, with growth, you really do get bigger all the time.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Yeah, there was definitely a big difference between me taking a cycle of HGH and like prior to, specifically with bulking and taking it. Like when I bulked and took it, like I was struggling to get to 240. It was like the hardest thing for me to get to 240 to try and get the top of my weight class.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'm 243 right now.
You tend to hover above.
I'm cutting to get to 230. I'm 243. The highest I got was 260.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge difference.
It physiologically changes you.
Yeah.
Growth hormone is still a miracle drug, and I still would suggest it for anybody.
You can take a small amount.
Probably, you don't have to take a peak. My first block was 5 IUs a day. And I say a block because that's how much a kit is. Mm-hmm. So it's a month, basically, at 5 IUs a day. Or at least it was where I bought it from.
Yeah.
I gained 10 pounds and lost 4% body fat.
Yeah.
So that weight went somewhere.
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, it did. So, but I also just don't have any desire to be, like I said, better composition. Yeah. But I don't have any desire to be skinny.
Well, I
don't even have any desire to see visible abs.
Right.
Although that may be a good indicator as to
body fat percentage.
Yeah, body fat percentage, and then maybe when you should stop your cut and go back the other way. But I'm concerned with being healthy and heavy.
Yeah.
That's what I want for myself. And there's going to come a time, I'm sure, where I just want to be healthy. Mm-hmm. Especially as we age, this does get harder and harder. I don't intend to quit powerlifting, but there's going to be a time numbers will diminish regardless of how hard I'm training, how well I'm eating, you know what I mean? But I still feel like I got a lot of it left in the tank in terms of, we know regimen's not a problem for me. But in terms of like learning to eat better, learning to sleep better, learning to manage all the ancillary things around lifting, there's still a lot of gains for me to be made. And a lot of that's in cutting and bulking. So,
right.
But my primary goal from that is to be healthier, not necessarily to be skinny.
Yeah.
So,
well, the only reason why I said, do you want to be 308? I was thinking you want to be like the 275 class and like hover above, maybe be like 280 something walking around.
I think the older I get, the more I'm okay with 308. I would like to be 275, but the only thing that really takes a hit from 275 to 308 is I do feel like I bench better heavier.
Yeah.
And I've built a pretty good bench press.
Yeah.
But I feel like deadlift squat's about as comparable.
Yeah.
Deadlift's arguably better, lighter.
Yeah.
Because leverages are better for me. But then again, if you want your leverages to change and you want to remain heavy, the best way to do that is to change your body composition. Mm-hmm. So theoretically, I can kind of have it both ways. You know what I mean? So with some patience and some, discipline. So. Yeah.
It is the hardest part. Like I've finally gotten to the point of hunger acceptance in my diet, which is, in my opinion, incredibly difficult to do. Some people may be able to be like hungry and be perfectly okay with it. I am not okay hungry. I get like antsy. I'm like, I need to eat. I'm
irritable.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm irritable. Here lately, I've been a little irritable, but I don't know if it's the cause of it. Could be. But yeah, I don't like being hungry is the long thing. And I finally gotten to a point where I can be okay being hungry. And that has helped me so much, like in terms of like coming home and being like, I don't have to eat something. I'm okay with just having a protein shake.
I chose low carb because I knew that would be in this cut that I knew that would be a limiting factor.
Right.
I wouldn't be okay with being hungry.
Yeah.
I knew low carb, I could grab a protein shake or some sandwich meat or something like that. I don't necessarily have to go hungry.
Right.
So I mean, that's the reason I did that. I don't think it's better.
Yeah.
We talked about this 1,000 times. The best diet's the one you can stick to.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel weak right now. So it's really, really good. So, but also because, you know, one thing I screwed up before a lot of the times when I did low carb and experienced a lot of weakness doing low carb was when I was experiencing a lot of weakness doing low carb, it was one of those times in my life where I wasn't hydrating correctly.
Yeah.
And now that I'm hydrating correctly with it, I see a lot less, at least on the barbell. Maybe toward the end of my workout, I'll probably peter out quicker. But at least on all my barbell work, I'm not really seeing any, like, true weakness.
Right.
I'm also running a program where I'm, you know, pretty submaximal right now.
Yeah.
My
it's
bench
just
press
super high volume.
I mean, I can do a 5x5 with 335 pounds, and I did it with, you know, 245 this week.
Right.
So, like, so there is a difference in that. But, like, at the same time, like, I also knew that and accepted that and started a program that would accommodate that to some extent. So, I don't think I'm going to go set a 5-rep max doing this. But, like, the things that are programmed for me, I'm getting done relatively easily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I think that maybe planning for that, if you're in a cut, plan to be on a pretty submaximal program, probably a pretty wise thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, we talked for, what, like 15, 20 minutes? We should probably...
actually get into the episode.
Actually, not that, I mean, the discussion was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Like, I think it's, I mean, we could circle right back to it if we want to, just talking about diet and stuff, but.
We could. I mean, we talked a lot about it, but there's a lot of high points, a lot of things going on that we could hit on today, to be honest with you. So
there is. Maybe we'll just make this a general episode. I don't even know what we'll call it.
Just an episode.
Just an episode. This is just an episode. We don't really know what's going on. We're just talking.
But yeah, this is a Sip It and Rip It podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Sip It and Rip It, at Nathan Skedios, at Coleman_barbell. YouTube, you can subscribe to us, like us, leave us rude comments. We like those. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you can listen to us on there, rate us 5 stars, leave comments on Spotify, whatever you want to do. But this is the let's just talk about it episode, apparently. It's just an episode.
Let's just talk. Let's just chat.
It's just an episode.
We're just going to chill. This is the we're just going to sit here and
first one back in a couple of weeks, so maybe that's what we should do.
Yeah. Didn't really have anything planned out because it's been a busy week.
Drinks were old fashions again.
Surprise.
Wild Turkey Long Branch, a pretty top shelf whiskey.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks. Yep. Chris Treese hooked us up with this. He's the man. Chris is a longtime client, one of my best friends in the world, fucking awesome dude. And, he donated a lot of whiskey to the cause, some Jameson and some Long Branch. So, y'all know we had the Jameson last time.
Yep.
I bought us some candied, orange peel and lemon peel.
Yep.
It's outstanding.
I haven't got to mine yet. It's still in.
So the lemon ended up tasting like, after it's sitting in the drink for a little while, tastes like a green Skittle.
That's interesting.
Awesome.
A green Skittle.
Which is lime flavored, technically.
Okay.
I mean,
that makes a little more sense.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So it was good.
Yep.
Yeah. Long Branch was really good whiskey. A little hotter than the Basil Hayden's and the Jameson we had.
Yeah. Basil Hayden was good. I like the Basil.
My favorite. Most drinkable whiskey I've ever had, I think. For a $40 or $50 bottle of whiskey, Basil Hayden is it, in my opinion. You know, there's some bourbon drinkers that are rolling their eyes. There's so much snoot in whiskeydom, right? So much snoot, and like I really really love whiskey, and I'll drink all of them. But I'll tell you that's very individualized. You just drink the whiskey you like, man.
Yeah, that's
honestly like
I don't get the whole like making fun of people for the alcohol they drink, because like if you like something that tastes nice, then drink it.
You know who the motherfuckers are that make the most fun of somebody that drinks something different? Motherfuckers that drink like 3% beers, like fucking they're drinking like Bud Light or Michelob. And like I can't tell you how many times I've sat at the bar and ordered like an IPA that's like 9% alcohol, and somebody like, you drinking one of them fruity beers, boy?
Fruity beer.
Like, yeah, this is like 6 of yours. Like you're drinking a fruity beer. Fuck you, watered down fucking pig swill. Fucking gross. Like I'm sorry, I wanted my beer to taste like something.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I can drink cheap beer. I really like Yingling. I'll drink a Miller Lite. I'll drink a Coors Light. You're not going to catch me dead drinking a Bud Light or a Natural Light or anything like that. Like, if it's free, yeah, I'll drink your beer. Yeah. There's no beer tastes better than free beer. But if I'm paying my own money, I'm not drinking Michelob. I'm not drinking Bud Light. I'm not drinking Natty Light. Like, no Busch. Although I did have a Busch Peach a couple weeks ago, and I can't lie to you.
Pretty good.
It was good. Yeah. It did feel emasculating drinking a peach flavored beer that wasn't like craft, that wasn't like high ABV or something, but like it was good. Yeah, that's fair.
We talked about the drink.
Oh, yeah, we talked about the drink. Does PR songs come before what we did in the gym this week?
I think so. I can't remember, but we'll just.
It's been a while. We're off for game here.
We're just gonna do it this way anyway. But I've got two, and the first one I will put out as a new one. Just saw it on Spotify, so it's probably pretty recent. Do you know who Shokron is?
Who?
Shokron?
No.
I've mentioned them a couple of times before. They're really good. I'd say they're like on the heavier side of metalcore.
Okay. I like some of that stuff. I like just metalcore sometimes. Yeah. So.
But they're very their theme is like Egyptian shit.
Oh, cool. So, like Nile, but lighter.
Probably.
Did you ever listen to Nile?
I know
Nile's
the name.
Like an Egyptian theme, like death metal band.
I know the name.
Cool.
If I heard it, I probably would know.
You would probably like Nile.
Anyway, it's called Amon Ra: The Battle for Tomorrow. And it's pretty heavy when it's heavy, and it's not very heavy when it's not very heavy. So I'll just leave it at that. It's good. I liked it.
This band is a band I love, but I complain about a lot because I do, even though I'm anti-gatekeeping, when it comes to music, I'm pretty bad to be a gatekeeper because as a musician, music causes me as much pain as it does happiness, especially like generally the commercial music people listen to, with the exception of some really good pop that's out now, is just really bad.
Yeah. I
mean, it's bad. It's in bad taste. It's not good. Country music happens to be the worst. And there's country music that's done in really good taste that I happen to like. And that's rare for me because I fucking hate country music. Like, I hate it. But when it's done well, it's done really, really fucking well. It feels cultural. It feels good. It sounds good. It makes you happy to listen to it. But just in general, most commercial shit, with country being the top of the list, is just fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
So this band drives me crazy to some extent because a lot of people that listen to bad country music, bad pop music, and bad rap music listen to this band, and it's Sleep Token.
I knew you were going to say that.
And I hate how many normal people listen to Sleep Token. And at the same time, though, like, they're kind of doing what Metallica did with the Black Album. And as a Metallica fan, I will tell you that's the album Metallica died. There are Metallica fans on this planet where that's where they start. And that's mind-boggling to me. But like, Sleep Token has done something nobody's done since Metallica, and that they have brought metal to the masses. And that's really, really appreciative. But it's a Sleep Token song called Jericho off of a 2017 EP. The name of the EP is 2. Ironically, the name of the EP is 2, but there are 3 songs on the EP. They probably did that on purpose. But the song's Jericho. It's fucking awesome. Listen to it. So that's entry number 1 for me.
So my number 2 is a song I was listening to last night on the way home from work. And it's really interesting because I don't even know what sparked it in my head. But I was like, man, I remember this song. What was the name of this song? I know. And then it just kind of hit me. I put it on and I was like, is this song still good? And I was like, yeah, this song still fucking rips. But it's The Judas Cradle by John 5.
Okay.
That's
John 5's an incredibly talented
He's
person.
incredibly talented. And like the rest of that album, Requiem, it's kind of heavy for John 5. Like, he's not like a super heavy, but like The Judas Cradle is incredibly heavy. Super good, slow, like the tempo is slow. Obviously, he doesn't play slow. Like when he hits his solos, they're all incredibly fast. But like the tempo of the whole song is very slow. It's got like belt holes in it and stuff. It's just like very dark, very thematic, very cool. Fun little side note. Do you know what a Judas Cradle is?
No.
So a Judas Cradle is an old torture device.
Cool.
From
I figured this was the
whole album, I think, is, except for the song Requiem, is about each name is a torture device from the past, I think. Yeah. Anyway, the Judas Cradle is a torture device that is a chair with a pyramid at the top, and they hang you over it, and they put the pyramid into your asshole. Oh. And it slowly pulls you apart by penetrating you.
Oh my God.
So
the things you learn on a powerlifting podcast.
So there you go. The Judas Cradle is ripping your asshole.
Ow.
Oh, yeah.
I actually have 4 tonight, so bear with me. Oof. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Locked and loaded.
Good band. This is another band that I think bridges the masses a little bit, but I think they still have some shock value in their old age. And I like them. They are one of the few new metal bands I continue to listen to today, outside of the Deftones. And that's Unsainted by Slipknot.
Good song.
That song fucking rips. Corey Taylor fucking rips on that song. I very rarely speak highly of a vocalist, but
he is one of the best kills. Metal vocalists.
Yeah, he's fucking good. He can fucking sing.
And his son is really good too. He's very similar in sound.
I'm sure.
And
all their kids they're in a band together, right? I forget the name of the band.
I mentioned them on the podcast.
You did. I've done forgot now though.
Vended?
I think it is. Yeah.
Vended.
But Unsainted is an awesome song. Means a lot to me right now. That's about it. But
I will say, just to give an opinion, I like that song a lot. That album, I didn't care for.
That's fair. They're getting to that point in their career.
It was like that song specifically. When I heard it, I got really excited because that was the first single they put out, and then everything past that did not live up to Unsainted.
I agree. Is that not the first album without? That's the first album without both Joey and Paul.
Yep, I believe
so. That
you can
sucks.
tell. Yeah, you can tell.
Joey
is like
I'm gonna chase a rabbit because we can, because it's everything. Have you seen? There's footage I recently was made aware of. They're playing a festival somewhere overseas. Lars is being a fucking prick, and I don't remember why. I don't remember if he was supposedly sick or didn't want to make the trip or nothing. But 10 minutes before the show, Metallica doesn't have a drummer. This is Metallica. They have literally played in front of 1.5 million people at one time in Russia. This is the biggest band on the goddamn planet. Taylor Swift can't hold their fucking jockstrap when it comes to how many people listen to this fucking band.
Right.
Like, this is it. Like, Metallica is, outside of the Beatles, that is the pinnacle of music history ever. Doesn't have a drummer 10 minutes before the set. And Joey Jordison goes back and rehearses with them for 5 minutes and plays an entire Metallica set with a good drummer. I can't tell you what that did to like the music nerd to me. And oh man, but watching Joey play that set with them was like,
oh, I'm sure it was fantastic.
And at the time, there's
probably the best
Joey's
Metallica
dead.
Ever.
It's the best I've ever heard Metallica live. Yeah, it's the best I've ever heard Metallica. And at the time of the interview, Joey's already passed away, and Corey Taylor's talking about it. But they were like only an album or two in and playing this festival of Metallica. So like this is like absolute pinnacle of Joey's career at this point. Like he's the drummer for Metallica,
even for just a day.
Night, you know what I mean? But like that is if you can find it on YouTube. I was down some social media rabbit hole when I found it, but best Metallica performance ever, and it's because
they have a good drummer
and a good bass player. They have Robert Trujillo and Joey Jordison, like not fucking Jason Newsted and Lars Ulrich. You know what I mean? So it's fucking awesome. Like, you have to find that and listen to it. Joey was a fucking god. Yeah. That's all there is to it.
He potentially the best drummer on the planet.
He's the best metal drummer, as long as he was alive. Yeah, in my opinion. But there's some other metalheads that are rolling their eyes pretty hard at me. But like,
I don't know, man.
Joey's a god. I didn't know this until later too. He played all the other instruments and he wrote a lot of Slipknot stuff.
I'm not surprised.
Like, an incredibly talented person. But yeah, that's my rabbit chasing from that. Joey Jordison playing for Metallica, the best Metallica show I've ever seen. So is what it is. What else you got? You got a third one?
No, you can go ahead with
I posted this on a video I made of Austin, a collage I made of Austin the other day, but Dog Eat Dog by Fox Lake. It's like a party rock anthem thing. It's definitely kind of metalcore, but fucking awesome. Feels like a drinking song. Some shit talking in it. Like, it's good. Yep. And then just because we're here and just because it's new, Low Tech by Kublai Khan is a new single.
All right.
Go fucking listen to that. Yep.
You've been on a Kublai Khan kick for like
I am.
Wow.
I didn't even know when I bought tickets to see him, and I didn't even know Harm's Way was playing when I bought the tickets.
Oh, that's gonna be
I was just like, I'm gonna go see Kublai Khan, my first show in 10 years, and then it was just a bonus that Harm's Way is playing on tour with them.
That'll be fun.
It'll be really fucking cool. So that's
Dude
it.
is jacked. I don't know the name of their vocalist, but he is jacked.
Fucking Matt Honeycutt from Kublai Khan is too.
Really?
Yeah, he's a smaller dude, but yeah, he's really fit too. Yep.
The Harm's Way vocalist is like big, like.
I believe it.
Like he looks like he could go.
I know. Honeycutt stops at local gyms and stuff when they're on tour and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of curious as to where
he's going to go.
Matthew Honeycutt's going to work out when he does Birmingham on May 12th.
Birmingham.
So
Iron City, maybe.
Iron Empire. Iron City's where they're playing.
Iron Empire.
I mean, I don't know if it'll be a powerlifting gym per se because he's not a power lifter. So,
right.
But
I guess it just depends. I don't know. I think that's the only gym I know of in Birmingham. So
I would imagine somebody in that situation probably keeps a Planet Fitness or a Anytime Fitness membership.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
you just got to go out. Unless you just like stopping into random
maybe,
gyms.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but it'd be kind of cool anyway. But yeah, that's PR songs. Had too many, but
that's okay. We were away for a little while, so you made up for 2 weeks worth. I was lazy.
There's not a bad song on that list. I would say Jericho and Unsainted, though, are the two you got to go listen to. Yeah. I mean,
and if you've never listened to John 5, you need to listen to John 5.
I just had a bass set up and tuned specifically to learn the entire Slipknot discography.
Yeah.
Which is nerdy, sure, but like that's just a band near and dear to my heart. I can play all their stuff pretty easily. It's not difficult to play, but I did it for, it's because it's good for my soul. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking fun. So it is what it is, but I don't know. Unsainted. Fucking awesome song, man.
It was
fucking good. I didn't like their new album that much.
Yeah. It just left me
parts of it is growing on me a little bit, but it's
I tried to listen to it a couple times, but really the only song I ever could feel like going back to was Unsainted.
Yeah. That's probably true. I mean, All Hope Is Gone and Subliminal Verses.
I love both those albums.
Subliminal Verses are so goddamn good. Yeah, so fucking good.
I think I could listen to both of those front to back.
Subliminal Verses before All Hope Is Gone, but yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, for sure. Is it Vendetta's on All Hope Is Gone? I
believe so.
That song's fucking.
Vendetta, Butcher's Hook.
Fucking top tier. Snuff is a ballad, but it's a good song.
Yeah, it is.
Psychosocial is a good song.
I do like
but Vendetta is like top tier Joey Jordison, talking about him though. He fucking rips in that song. So yeah, it is what it is. Did you see Chad Gray of Mudvayne is pissed off about the Pantera reunion?
No. Why is he pissed off?
Well, he was in a band with Vinny before. When Vinny passed away, Vinny was in Hell Yeah, not know, obviously Pantera wasn't a thing because Dime died.
Mm-hmm.
But he's pissed off because apparently Vinny was always, his stance on it was always, there will never be a Pantera reunion show because it's not Pantera without
Vinnie Paul.
Without Dime. Yeah. So he's
just mad about it.
Yeah, he's mad because he doesn't feel like Phil and Rex lived up to Vinny's expectations, I guess, with, it's dead when it's dead.
Right.
Out of respect to Dime, we're never going to do this. And, then they went and did it with the Anthrax drummer and Zach Wild, but I would watch that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Pantera, to me, is Phil Anselmo and Rex Brown. There's people going to fight with me over that because of Dime and everything.
Right.
But
Phil did do a lot for Pantera. He was kind of like, he was the front man.
They were an 80s hair metal band before Phil,
right.
So that
tells you something.
Yeah. Pantera we know isn't Pantera without Phil Anselmo. So
yeah, they were heavily inspired by Kiss when they first started. So if that tells you anything,
it is what it is. Yeah. But Chad Gray's one of my favorite new metal vocals too. I love Mudvayne. They were fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I got to meet him because I opened for Hell Yeah show in Huntsville one time. Cool dude, but they're doing it justice, man. Zach's a fucking good guitar player.
Oh yeah, so. Zach is one of the best guitar players ever.
A lot of people hate that man, but yeah,
I don't care. Like you can hate him if you want. He is insane. Like I remember my dad bringing this video or this DVD he had, and he was like, watch this video. And it was Zach Wild, and he was like explaining how to play this song. And he was just like doing it simply. He was like, so you do this. And it was like, you get a little better and you do this. And it just continuously got more and more egregiously like nuts. And I was like, I've learned nothing except that you're really talented. Like, that's what I learned here.
I think everybody sees, I think general public and even guitar players, like lesser guitar players probably, see Ozzy Osbourne era, Zakk Wylde, where he was very much like had to do somebody else's thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's a hired gun at that point. And like, he's also the guy after Randy Rhoads.
Right.
So he's never going to be Randy Rhoads.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be honest. I mean,
for me,
is
Zakk
it one of
Wylde,
those situations? I'm not even a big Black Label fan.
Really? I love Black Label.
But he's fucking good. That's all there is to it. I saw a video of him playing a Journey song the other day of all things. I fucking hate Journey. Like, I would rather drink a gallon of bleach than listen to Journey. And he absolutely just fucking
crushed it. Made it look
just fucking awesome. Yeah, just like, I don't know. The dude's good.
He's also jacked too.
Mm-hmm.
In his older age, he just decided, you know what, I'm going to get.
That was his. Was that not his? I've quit drinking resolution.
I think so. Yeah.
Quit drinking, started lifting. Like, that's a cool fucking story. But
nope.
And you know, he's dropped all the. For all I know, he looks like he's dropped all the redneck bullshit that he used to be about too.
Yeah.
So probably for the best. But
mm-hmm.
All right, we should talk about powerlifting now.
Well, I mean, gym this week, I guess.
Still on the 5x5, so I really only have 3 days a week I'm planned and programmed.
Yeah.
It's going fine. Squats are coming back stronger. They're getting more and more comfortable. I'm starting to hit. I'm on 5x5 for a reason, but I'm starting to be able to hit sets of 10 without it winding me too bad.
That's good.
So used to, you know, when I was having and out of all these hip problems, like I could squat 500, but a set of 3 at 405 was
a lot.
Too much. Yeah, absolutely. So volume is something I've struggled with for a few years, and I'm starting to develop the ability to handle volume. Mm-hmm. So that's really, really good. Comes from that new squat technique we talked about of squatting loose, not squatting tight. My back's still super tight. My upper body's still super tight, all that stuff. But I'm not forcing position in my lower body anymore. Yeah. Beyond a certain point, you know, muscle memory should be able to take over. And now that I've loosened up my hips and knees, all of a sudden I have a pain-free squat. And I'm starting to fuck shit up.
Right.
So we might actually get to see, my squat potential is not as bad as I thought it was. You know what I mean? Like, we may see a big squat out of me one day. And I'm a long way from that. But the more used to it I get, the better. I really need to work on, after this is over with and I go back to an actual power block, I need to start working this new technique with some tempo so that I can learn to squat. I like to squat slow. I like a slow descent because I feel like I'm in control. Mm-hmm. I need to be able to learn that with the new technique, basically. Yeah. Because right now I feel like I'm just dropping,
kind of bouncing.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and that's not necessarily good either. I want to be able to, I believe in squat fast, fail fast. The ascent should be as fast as you can make it. The descent needs to be, you need to make sure you stay in the groove. You know what I mean? So, I think squats go bad that way, to be honest with you. But I do need to work that, but that's starting to come back. Bench press is just kind of in a lull because it's super submaximal. So nothing to speak on other than I'm hitting everything with relative ease. Deadlift is good. Also so submaximal that I can't tell you how good.
Right,
you know what I mean? Bent over rows are great. That's something I wanted to pick up and start doing. Supposed to be doing those for a 5x5. I've been able to chip like 3 weeks in a row. I've been able to do just a single set of 25 on those. So I probably started too light, but I'm in a position now when I go to put 2 plates or more on a bent over row, it's not going to be a problem anymore.
Right.
You know, so that's really, really good. And then all of my accessory works I've started doing on a Tabata timer, which is completely experimental. This is not a suggestion to anybody at the moment. But I needed something to help facilitate weight loss. Help me get a little bit more conditioning in. And just kind of just wanted something different for a little while. Yeah. And it's been, I would say, some movements, the more truly compound they become, like you're doing most of this on machine work or cable work, or even like a plate loaded machine, the more compound movements are not really fruitful, I would say.
Yeah.
I found on lat pull downs it got in my forearms, my biceps before it ever touched my lats, because you're having to use a weight that's roughly a third of what you would normally do, 4 sets of 10 at an RR 3 at, you know what I mean? So, where I might do 200 pounds on lat pull down, I'm doing 80.
Right.
And it's just roasting my forearms and biceps. So I found that's not particularly useful for that. Leg extensions, leg curls, any type of arm work, any type of shoulder work has been very fruitful.
Yeah.
But like I said, typically the bigger the movement, the less effective it's been for me.
Right.
But maybe something to play with and throw in. I suggest you maybe try it in your warm-ups. I don't know if you got a chance to play with it in any of your accessory work, but it has been, like I said, it has been somewhat fruitful for me.
Yeah, I've tried to put it in at least one accessory lift every day that I've been. I did leg extensions. That was very good. Good burn. I will say this about my legs here lately. I don't get very sore in my legs, and I think it's because I'm not able to handle squat volume right now because of my knees, which may be figured out. We don't know yet.
We feel like we're getting closer.
Yeah. Every time we say that, though, it feels like another thing pops up or there's another problem. But we won't go down that depressing rabbit hole of knee pain. But I did it on leg extensions. Felt really good. But I didn't get sore from it. Like I could tell I worked, and I could tell I hit close to failure several times. I did it on leg press. Same thing. Felt really good. I actually failed at one point. I didn't complete my last set. So very good stimulus, I feel like. But again, didn't make me sore.
Yeah.
I did it on leg curls. Got a little sore. Leg curls got me a little more. And then I did it on lat prayers, and I did an alternating lat prayer, lat pull down.
Lat prayers were good for me.
Lat prayers were really good. I did them by themselves one day, and they were really good.
They were, the lat pull down, you'd agree, is kind of bullshit, though.
Yeah, the lat pull down just kind of
not enough load.
It's the problem is that, like you said, it gets into the other muscles more or sooner than it gets into your lat. So you're really not getting good lat training out of it.
Yeah.
It's just not, in my opinion, not worth it. The only way you could really escape that is really honing in on hooks' arms and only pulling by protracting your lats, which is incredibly difficult. It can be done. Like I can do it myself, but it also like requires so much mental focus that
the time restriction doesn't.
It kind of pulls away from all that, because if you're going to do that, you really need like a lighter weight, and you need a amount of reps and to be slow.
Yeah.
Because you can't just protract your lats quickly without pulling.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a slow movement, and you're just not going to get enough out of it on a Tabata timer. But if you do them by itself, then whatever.
Like I said, I thought by and large, the smaller the movement, the more beneficial it was. With the exception of a shoulder press, I have been doing a shoulder press machine.
Yeah.
But I will say my shoulders are very sore after the fact, but during the fact, it was my triceps killing me. So that may be a little bit indicative, like I said, that the larger muscle groups not taxed enough, and then the smaller muscle groups tax too much.
Right.
But like I said, on anything that's like a relatively small movement, been pretty fruitful.
Yeah.
My training partner's crazy and did some on a pendulum squat the other day, and he seemed to think it was pretty difficult.
I would imagine so.
It's an 800-pound squatter, and he got whooped by a plate on the pendulum squat. So I have found on that, if you do decide you want to do it, I have found on that the sweet spot is you want to wait where you can do about 70 to 80 reps over the course of your Tabata. That's going to be roughly 10 minutes, 10 reps 10 reps a round, or 20 reps a minute, because it's 4 minutes long, has been pretty fruitful. If it's closer, if the 10's a little closer to failure, you end up at about 70, and I feel like the pump is better on the lesser end of that rep range, because you're having to use, at that point, you're having to use a weight that we would do. You see me program these a lot. I may do 6 by 15 or something like an RR2 or something like that. It feels a lot more like that than, and the volume is also comparable, you know what I mean, to that situation. Yeah. So just something to probably consider if you're going to try that yourself. Pick a weight that you can stay to 70 to 80 reps in. If you first one out the gate, if you're getting a rep a second, if you're going 20 plus reps in your first round, it's not going to be very fruitful.
Right.
So
you're either going to fail halfway through or it's not heavy enough.
Yeah. Largely, I found it just not be heavy enough.
Yeah.
Because I was able, even on, if I'm going 20 reps, the first one, I was able to maintain 14 to 16 the whole Tabata.
Right.
So like, that's probably not that's not really what we're after as powerlifters.
Right.
So.
Only interesting other thing I did in the gym was I did some close grip bench press with, decent weight. It was like 350, 365, 385.
Yeah, you're definitely pretty fatigued by the time you got to that 385.
Yeah, the 385 was it wasn't slow, but I was like, I got one and that's it.
That's something that you can probably do for 5 if you don't do.
Well, I did.
5's up to that.
Conventional bench press, I did it for 5. So,
yeah, so.
Close grip, maybe. I was hoping for a double, but I'm also on a cut. So like when I hit 385 for 5 on bench press at an RP like 8, it was at the top of my bulk, I think. That was just before I started cutting weight.
So
or not
pretty big difference
long
in calories.
After.
Yeah. So you managed to stay relatively strong through your cut.
Yeah. I've managed to keep my strength on. TRT helps a lot. MK, I started taking it recently.
I do have it back, by the way. Cool.
Good to know. MK has helped get me deeper sleep, not more sleep. Just specifically, I feel like when I get really tired after I take it. Also, my progesterone, my vitamin D at the end of the night, I take all that. I'm really tired, but I don't necessarily get sleepy. Sure. I don't fall asleep quickly. And that may just be a me thing. But when I sleep really hard. So that stuff sits beside my bed, and that's the last thing I do before I lay my head down. So I'm not really, I guess I may be taking them, my timing's a little bit different. So yeah, I usually take it on a work day. I'll get home, take it, get in the shower and lay down. Well, I'll get a protein shake, take it, go shower, lay down. That's kind of like how my night routine goes when I get off work. So, yeah, is what it is. That stuff's helped. Yeah, I like my MK. It's oil tastes like garbage. It tastes like bad medicine. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it sucks. It's probably, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing I've ever tasted, but it's up there. Yeah. It is definitely up there. They say the oils work better. All I know is I sell a lot of the fucking pills. Capsules are a lot easier, a lot more manageable. Yeah. I would say they're probably the only reason why they're less effective is just because capsules are typically less effective than oils, like just in general. Yeah. The absorption rate is worse. Yeah. That's why your capsules are 35 milligrams and the oil is like 20 or 25. It's also the reason why oil is going to cost you $100 and the capsule is going to cost you, $10 or $20 less. Yeah. So, it is what it is. But, I found MK to be, at least it's been fruitful enough. I haven't felt like I needed to purchase growth. Right. So. Well, it's reflected on my blood work without having any, of course, I wasn't taking enough growth to have many side effects anyway, but it's reflected on my blood work without having any noticeable changes. Right. So it is what it is. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think both of us had low growth hormone. I know Joey did. Yeah, I just wanted to keep my growth hormone in a healthy range, not necessarily in a performance enhancing range. Yeah. That day will come again, but that's just not what I was looking for. Yeah, and that's the only thing the doctor was looking for was a healthy range. Yep. So if the MK gets me there, why spend $150 on a kit? Right. When the MK, our price is not to be told on the podcast, but the price me and you are paying me to buy it is much, much cheaper than most. Yep. So it is what it is. Yep. But yeah. So what do you want to talk about? Interesting thing I heard on the Dragon's Lair podcast. You know who Jimmy House is, right? Yeah. He is doing professional wrestling now. Oh, okay. Yeah. Just decided out of the blue. He was, he did powerlifting for a while. He started in jiu-jitsu several years, and now he's doing professional wrestling. He's on the indie scene. He's not like WWE, AEW. He's not like in the pro level or the big money level. Yeah. But he's doing indie shows. And it's really funny because I just happened to put it on that podcast. I didn't have anything else to listen to on the way home. And I was like, no shit, Jimmy House is, and he was talking about Goldberg being his number one wrestler growing up. That was his favorite. He was like, I want to be like Goldberg. Oh yeah. And apparently his first match, people were raving about it. I haven't watched it. But that was really interesting. And then I'm not going to go on a wrestling tangent, but The Rock came back. Most people know this. Man, he's been so good. He's been hilarious. It's like Attitude Era level Rock, except he's much meaner, and sometimes it feels like he's roid raging a little bit, like legit, just like angry, like cussing. Like, because, WWE for a long time after the Attitude Era, they went to the PG era. Boy, he's dropping F-bombs and like, he's just like, he don't care. And he posted on social media, he was like, everyone at, I can't remember where Raw is picked up by what television, what's the word I'm looking for? The channel channel it's on. They've been like writing him letters saying, you gotta chill, dude. And he wrote on social media, he's like, fuck them. And I was just like, damn, bro, he ain't playing. But they're about to go to Netflix. And he was like, yeah, when we go to Netflix, we don't care. Like,
it's probably a good move for them.
Yeah. I would say
how many all the shows are going to Netflix?
Yes. Okay. All of the WWE shows are going to Netflix sometime this year, I think. It might be after WrestleMania. Probably not after WrestleMania. It's probably a little after WrestleMania. WrestleMania is in a couple weeks. But either way, and they're also, because TKO is MMA, or I'm sorry, UFC, as well as WWE merged. So they're putting boxing fights on Netflix too. The Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight is going to be on Netflix. So,
all right.
I kind of want to watch it just because I kind of want to see Mike Tyson beat the shit out of a teenager. But he's not a teenager anymore. But like,
I mean, I kind of would. I'd like that too. I got a feeling
I'll probably just watch clips.
Probably stacked against Tyson a little bit though.
So here's the way somebody explained it to me is like, it's an exhibition fight. They're talking a lot. They're hyping it up. He's probably not actually going.
He's not
going
headgear too, right?
I don't know that one.
I think Paul's in headgear.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tyson walked out there without it.
I don't know why he would.
Like I don't.
There's no way. I mean, he could win, and there's no way Jake Paul can physically has the ability to hit him hard enough to knock that man out.
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
No,
I absolutely don't believe.
I watched some training videos.
That guy's fucking neck, dude. I know there's a bunch of shit coming out too that Tyson's training videos are sped up and everything like that and edited.
Maybe, but
that's that and other. I got a pretty good handle on. I'm not good at video editing by no means, but I got a pretty good handle on what edited music and edited the process for editing. The process for editing music and processing and editing video is really similar. Mm-hmm. You know this from doing the podcast and recording guitar stuff, and your YouTube channel is very, very similar. I just feel like if somebody's got a handle on that I would be able to tell.
Right.
But to be honest with you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think people are just surprised that Mike Tyson is still able to fight as well as he can. I think people are just like, there's no way this is real. At his level
and his ability, it's somewhat like riding a bike for him.
Yeah.
Probably. It's like me playing bass. I can probably set it down for 6 years and pick it up and play better than
90%
than most. You know what I mean? So like, you're going to lose some athleticism and some quickness when you do that, but it can come back with practice, and that's probably what you're seeing with Tyson.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's still like physically looks great. So like, I don't know, man.
I kind of hope he kills him. Side note on that too, talking about Mark Bell's podcast, Andy Williams of Every Time I Die, that band's disbanded now and he's not currently playing with anybody, but he's on that level of wrestling as well.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a really awesome guitar player, but yeah, he was on, and he lifts weights and shit, but he's been on Mark Bell before. So
okay. Yeah. I don't know if I've
old, I'm talking about this probably a 10-year episode.
Okay.
But yeah, he's been on Mark Bell podcast before. So I think Silent Mike was still a co-host when.
Okay, I didn't. That's way before my time. I started with Nsima and Andrew Z. So
yeah, I mean, Silent Mike was easily 10 years ago, probably. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a long time. The old gym, not the old Super Training, but the one in the middle would have been the gym that they were in when they were doing that podcast.
I still want to really go one day to Super Training.
It'd be an awesome experience.
Like there's several gyms I want to go to, and they're all in California, and I hate California. Well, I guess Nevada, Las Vegas. I want to go to Dragon's Lair
Yeah, Nevada's a wildly different state than California, though. So
it's in that area. I associate everything in that area as California. Like
that couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah, I know,
Don't let
but
them know that.
it's all the same. It's all the same. No, but Las Vegas is much different. But like I would love to go to Super Training, and I'd love to go to Dragon's Lair. Like those are the big two that I'd really like to go to.
Yeah.
There's another one that's over.
I don't know. I would like to go to a powerlifting dedicated gym like that for sure. Dragon's Lair is obviously not all powerlifting.
Yeah,
it's a big focus of theirs. But you know, I've done Alpha Land, and it's a really impressive building. But it's not like I was excited to be there because it's a cool gym and it's nice. But it's like
it's still just a gym.
Yeah, I mean that's still. I think that it's going to have to come with some. A gym destination like that for me is going to have to come with some names.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to have to know this is where Joe Sullivan trains, or this is where, you know, somebody cool fucking trains.
Right.
This is Mark Bell's gym. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to have to be something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
For me to really like get my jollies on going to a gym.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to make a trip out there just to go to those gyms. Like,
I'm not going to lie to you. That'd be a cool vacation for me.
I would go if I were to take a vacation to Las Vegas. I would for sure go down to Dragon's Lair.
For sure.
Like but I'm not going to go to Las Vegas to train at Dragon's Lair.
So I wouldn't be above a vacation like that.
That's fair.
Cool. I mean, you know, I'm obviously going to do other shit while I'm on vacation. I'm not going to exclusively, I mean, your workout's an hour and a half of your day. Like, so I'm not going to exclusively just go to that, but I would tell you that there's a good chance I would actually plan my day around that. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I completely 100%. Agree with that.
And and if it was the first idea I had about going somewhere, I'm okay with that too. It's just not going to be the only thing I do.
Right.
It may be the reason I'm there, but it may not be the only thing I do.
That's fair. That's fair.
There's gyms like that.
There's one in Canada, and I forget the name of it, but it's the home of this company that makes a bunch of equipment that Dr. Mike is obsessed with, and I can't remember. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I do. Yeah.
Man, I wish I could remember because he just talks about their equipment, and he's like, it's like all of it is perfect.
There's places like that probably all over the world, but you know, I wouldn't mind listening in. I would love to go. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but I'd love to go to Thor's gym in Iceland.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be an experience. But also, if you're going to Iceland, there's other stuff to do down there.
Yeah, absolutely. You're probably not going to Iceland just for Thor's gym.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of any European gyms off the top of my head, although I'm sure that there are some.
There are probably plenty of great gyms down there, but just none that off the top of my head. Where does he's in UK, right?
I mean, you don't think it'd be fun to go fucking Muscle Beach and just annihilate bodybuilders on the bench press at Muscle Beach, like Southern California? I think that'd be fun. You know,
Muscle Beach, is that where they have the gym like equipment on the beach?
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about?
It's literally on the beach. Yeah.
I mean, that'd be kind of fun.
That's like bodybuilding mecca, though.
Okay.
Like Gold's Gym, Southern California, and then that place is like, that's it. you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Like, go out there and just be like, oh man, what do you bench? Oh.
All of it.
Like, what's your bench?
I mean, I'll be honest with you though. There's 3 states in the union that, if you walk into a gym, the chances of you actually not being the strongest person is pretty good, and that's Ohio, Texas, and California.
Yeah.
Like, there's a high likelihood you're not the strongest person in that gym.
Is true.
Like,
that is true.
I mean, they're the biggest demographics, you know, of strength athletes, you know, we have here. So I'm just saying.
But hey, we got Juwan. We got several.
He trains at he trains at that badass gym in Chicago too, though. I can't think of
Juwan does
the name of it. Yeah, I mean, he's from here, but I think he's dating a girl from Chicago. So
okay.
He travels up there a lot. But I can't think of the name of that one right now.
When I was in Chicago,
maybe it's New Level, something like that. I don't remember the name of it though. It'll come to me. But
I was a little bit outside of Chicago, but when I was in Illinois, I just went to an Anytime Fitness, and I hate the fact that I just went to an Anytime Fitness.
And it is what it is. It gets the job done.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Don't get me wrong, it was a nice gym. Like, it was huge.
Yeah.
And they had a deadlift platform, and
it's hard to go back to commercial gym bars when we've been spoiled by plates. Don't really care so much about, but the bars.
We might one day. If we get some competition plates and start using them regularly, we might get spoiled.
A lot of people don't feel this way, but I told one of the first time I've ever got to train my whole day on kilogram plates was at Ron's gym, Maverick. And coming from commercial gym plates and iron plates to little bitty thin, perfectly situated, calibrated kilogram plates, I actually think found them to be easier.
Yeah.
And there's some people that will say kilogram plates are harder. They're harder and harder. And I don't know, something about it to me felt easier. And I think because I'm a big man, it's because everything's closer to my center of gravity. And it really benefited me to be on kilogram plates. But same thing in my meet. Had I not got hurt, I felt like everything, I close grip my bench and everything felt really, really good, especially through warm-ups on kilogram plates, but to each their own. Everybody struggles with something. I don't like change much. And if somebody that doesn't like change can go and feel like they did better on kilogram plates,
it says something. If it's completely about you, it's completely about you.
Yeah, this conversation just about how I felt about it. I feel like it's a luxury to be on kilogram plates.
Yeah. When last meet, I don't really remember. Like, it was such a weird day. It was such a weird prep. Everything was off. Like, everything felt off. So even when I was warming up, everything felt heavy. But I also, like, not to talk shit about Joe, I didn't have a warm-up plan. I didn't even know. Like, I was half awake. I didn't get but like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Like, I was on pre-workout, a Monster, a coffee, some nectar. Like, I had every supplement I could possibly do.
Fucking zooked.
I was dead to the world, dude. Especially during squats. I was like, man, I'm gonna bomb out this meet. Like, that's how I felt. But you
didn't.
I didn't. I won.
That's the most important thing. He didn't.
Number 1 overall.
Yeah.
I beat a certain hero.
Hopefully, we get more of those number 1 overalls from more of my people.
I don't know. I don't think I'll get number 1 overall at nationals. I'll just put that out there. That's not my goal. If I can win my weight class, I'll be happy.
Overall is going to be, that'd be tough sledding for anybody.
I don't know. I know there's a lot of heavy hitters, mostly in the 308s. I don't know about some of the lighter guys. I know there's a couple 220s that are pretty strong. Probably 220s that are going to out total me. So
that's fair. that shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
So, but 220s, we talk about it. 220s could be the most competitive weight class.
I think it is. Between 181 and 220, like, that's where the best guys are as far as dots go.
Yeah. So, hard to beat those guys.
It is.
Very, very hard.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe.
I would like to be the 242 that breaks the barrier.
We don't do this to get beat. I tell people that all the time. We don't. It happens. It sucks. It sucks less if I know you've done your best and you go out there and you get beat because somebody's just better. It does make me want to pull my hair out as a coach if you go out there and
sandbag it.
No, I like for me, especially on down the road, I like a 9 day less, but definitely for my beginners, I like a 9 for 9 day.
Yeah, that's totally.
I would
different.
rather them, for confidence reasons, have a good day.
Yeah. What
makes me want to pull my hair out is people that know better missing commands.
Oh God, yeah.
That's I tell every lifter before when they sign up for their first meet, it's like, you want to watch me pull my fucking hair out. If I genuinely get mad at you, we started practicing these things, 4 weeks out. Like, you've heard them over and over and over and over again. Like, do not miss on a command. You know what I mean? Like, all the time. Like, can't miss on a command. I have really good luck with that too. It doesn't happen too often, but
I still remember when Desi missed her rat command on squat, and I was just like, I looked at her like, what? Like, what? Like, because she's the one who is very methodical about not. That's very I've got to.
First of all, Desi may be the exception, not the rule. I can't find myself getting too terribly upset about anything Desi does.
Yeah.
But also got to just trust Desi. Yeah. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
She's really good at executing most of the time. That was why I was so shocked when she jumped. I think she was just nervous.
What's the most nerve-wracking lift of the day?
She was also pregnant. Her brain was scattered. She didn't know she was pregnant. Yeah, she didn't know she was pregnant. It was like that whole meet was kind of crazy for her.
I'm sure it was. Wild times.
Cora's first powerlifting meet.
Officially, yeah.
Oh man.
Pretty wild. But I don't know, that would make me want to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
This one coming up at Iron City, our plan is to for reasons we want to is definitely to get Austin and hopefully Steve and Lance. Well, Lance is the next month, but hopefully get those two guys qualified, and then Lance qualified the next month. And I'm not gonna lie to you, we're planning on 2 for 3 calls for both of them all day.
Yeah.
For reasons I'm not going to talk about publicly, but
we're going to try and hit records on 2s.
Huh?
Are you going to try and hit records?
No, I'm expecting 2 whites to 1 red.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm expecting an automatic red on everybody's list that day.
Yeah. It's very, very possible. We'll just have to see.
So it's one of those things that, like, if we leave no doubt, 2 is all we need.
2 is all we need.
2 is all we need. So, it is what it is, man. That's the hand we've been dealt. Austin is somebody I trust. If he goes out there and misses his first squat on depth or on something technical, we're probably moving up anyway.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're going to make our plan jump and stuff like that. Steve, we have a very, very specific goal in mind, and it's not necessarily to squat a lot. So we're going to go get enough squats to make our total with Steve. You know what I mean? Like, we're hoping for a 400-pound deadlift for him. He's an older man, so if y'all are wondering why I'm talking about that, and we're hoping for a bigger bench press than what he normally has. So, but his bread and butter in his division is his deadlift, so that's what we're going to do. Also, though, however, I really think Austin's got a shot at 1850 plus.
That'd be a big total.
It'd be a very big total. So
that would for
1850 would be 700, 700, and 450.
What would be his dots after that?
We just had 463 at 1780, right?
463. So it'd be probably like 475, 480, somewhere around there. Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't know dots very well, but
460 is the qualifier, though, right?
450.
So I mean,
he'll qualify. I'm not worried about him qualifying. As long as
we would like to qualify with the biggest number possible.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this though, there's a very real possibility if Austin get qualified, there's a very real possibility that we have 19 come nationals.
Yeah, that'd be big.
Yeah, it would be very big. I mean, the sleeves have been a cheat code. I can't lie to you.
Sleeves are crazy. Joey just got some sleeves, and he's talking about how nuts they are. He said they reminded him of a wrap.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel about mine.
I feel so much springier in the bottom. Did you get the A7s or did you get SBD?
I didn't get either. I got me and Austin both bought Strength Shop 7 mils.
Okay.
Yep.
Me and Joey got A7s,
which I'm sure you got the rigor mortis.
Yep. Rigor mortis.
It's a fucking awesome sleeve.
The hourglass shape. So
I wasn't
it fits
going
around
to.
Your knee.
That's the way mine are too. But I wasn't. I just didn't want to spend $160 on Enzers.
Yeah, Enzers are expensive.
The Strength Shops were 75, and I'm like, I'm a mid squatter anyway. If it provides me any benefit, we'll take it. I
think the A7s were only 100.
Still $25 more than I spent.
It is. But I like A7 a lot. I bought the.
I will say this though, since I've lost weight, I'm having an issue keeping my right one up.
Yeah.
Which is a problem, but I mean, I'm going to gain back in it, so it doesn't matter anyway. But
I don't like using them for lightweight or lots of reps.
I wish I would have kept a normal pair of sleeves for that reason.
I have my Mark
right
Bells.
Now I don't have to have them. There's no reason. I mean, I've gone naked knees 1 or 2 times a week since I started 5x5. I really only pulled my sleeves up when I'm hurt, hurting or something. It is what it is. But
I really don't like them for doing much other than like a handful of reps. And I do feel like they slide down a little bit. I may have oversized the hair, but they are incredibly tight when I get them on, but they still kind of slide down.
Yeah.
But
the material too doesn't help necessarily,
I just plan on getting bigger legs. So
same. It's gonna have to come after this weight loss phase. But they felt fine when I was 290. Now I'm 277 now. It's, a little bit different. So
I don't think I think the only size I've really lost has been in my torso. Like I went from going like very like you can probably kind of see it in my stomach. Like I know I was out past my chest when I was 260 and it's gone back down under my chest. So I think most of my weight has gone from my torso. My legs seem about the same. I mean, there's some fat that's gone from my legs because I've noticed they're a lot leaner. I'm starting to see more muscle definition. So it's been good. It's been a good cut. I'm really happy with it.
Good. Yeah, I mean, it's a big year. So,
yeah, we got a lot going on.
A lot of things potentially changing in my personal life, in that I have been gearing up to go to school, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in school, and I really lately have felt compelled just to keep the hammer down and training, and move all of my education back to training focused and stay in the career that I'm in.
Yeah.
So, as it sits right now, probably not going to school. So,
okay. So you'll get to be side by side with Joe coaching in nationals,
which is intimidating. I mean, I've done it before, and I've been around coaches that at one time that are peers of mine now, that at one time to see them, knowing I had to coach against them, was intimidating. So I've been there before. I mean, it is what it is. All I got to say about it is I'm not pretending to be as good of a coach as Joe, but we're going to share that room, and we're there for the same reason. And at that point, he will be a peer as long as my people execute their plan. Whether they win or they get beat, we're just there to execute, and whatever happens, there'll be a little bit of chess game, I'm sure. Like a lot of times there is when you're up to win something serious. About attempt selection is probably going to change outside of the plan to some extent, I'd imagine. But that's what we do, and we'll either go execute or we won't, and we'll get better for it one way or the other too. So
the cool thing, though, Joe knows both of us. Like it's not quite as intimidating because I could walk up to Joe, absolutely just like start conversation. I have no
doubt about that.
No, just like easily just go over, shake his hand, give him a hug. Like, what's up, dude?'How's it going? How many people you got? Where are they at? Yeah. Am I competing against them? I have no like worries about talking to him, and I don't think you really do either, because like we've talked to him before. He was on the podcast, unfortunately.
Super great guy.
Super chill, just super easy to talk to, super nice.
There's a lot of there's still a lot of bravado around powerlifting I don't really like or buy into. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't like a lot of screaming and yelling, and I don't really like athletes to do it. Mm-hmm. Not that I dislike them really, but I don't really like to see it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that at the national level. You know what I mean?
Probably. I can't say that if I hit a big deadlift or a big bench press that I won't get excited.
You know what I mean? That's not really what I'm talking about. But I'm not really about I'm the most intimidating guy in the room. In the room. That kind of shit.
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm talking about. What you do on the platform, it is what it is. I'd love to see y'all celebrate, but I want it to be about y'all and not made about somebody else there.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can have our opinions in private between me and you, between me and Austin and stuff like that, but celebrate what you're there to do. And if you beat somebody in the process, that's what we're there to do. So it's okay. But like I said, I don't really care. I wouldn't care for any of my people to make it about somebody else.
Right.
And that's going to be a message for reasons we've touched on already going into Iron City. It's just make it about, just let it be about you. Yeah. And what you do. And just stay out of everybody else's mouth. Don't give them a reason to say anything. They're going to have plenty of reason to say stuff anyway. So just
people do like to get up their panties up their butt.
This is the first time going into a powerlifting meet that I felt like some politics could sway my day.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate that that's even a concern. Like, when I first started powerlifting, I didn't even think about politics. Yeah. Like, politics was the furthest thing.
Well, we weren't a name then.
This is true. We were just random people who showed up.
Yeah. At that point,
we also weren't quite as competitive as we are now.
Well, that's true. But at that point, we were just names that showed up and competed and won or didn't win, and
home.
Just as it is. Now we win a lot. Mm-hmm. I say we like I've done anything. I haven't done anything, but my lifters win a lot. So that matters now. You know what I mean? And that obviously to some extent bothers people. So, but I said I would make a name for Coleman Barbell and, provide some type of path for my athletes to make names for themselves. And that's what I'm doing. And I don't really plan on slowing down because how somebody feels about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to treat anybody poorly. Mm-hmm. If they do,
that's their opinion. That's their thing.
That's their thing. Whatever. But I'm not stepping on anybody on my way to do that. So,
right.
Because I haven't had to.
I don't think there's a need to.
And I do think I've said this a lot before. I feel like if everything were equal in terms of resources, people's opinions about me would be quite a bit different.
Yeah.
But they're watching y'all do this on commercial gym equipment, on old rusty iron plates, mismatched size 45s. You know what I mean? Like, lucky because it's stuff either me or you have provided to have a deadlift bar or a squat bar in their gym. Half of us are still bench pressing on shitty fucking CrossFit bars. I mean, we have great equipment for accessory work, but that's about it. You know, we don't ever see we don't see a calibrated plate until we get to the warm up room.
Yep.
We're all just a bunch of country boys from Coleman, Alabama. There's not a lot of like resources in terms of athletes. It's just all been hard work and doing what we're supposed to do. And I just think a lot of those things were equal. Maybe they would put a little bit more respect on my name when it gets mentioned.
Yeah. No, I agree. But that's what we're going to do at Nationals. That's when we bring home a couple gold medals and from Nationals.
I'm at a point though. I don't know how many things I can do seriously and do it well to get the respect that I deserve. And even people that I respect and love, my name is still not included when they talk about good coaches in the state. That bothers me some too. And that's not their fault of those people, but I feel like I deserve, and we're about to get a chance to prove it.
Yeah.
Well, we deserve to be mentioned in that same.
Right.
Not me, but our team deserves to get mentioned in the same fucking circles as these other people do.
Well, all it takes is one eye-opening win. I've been saying that for a little while now. It's the same thing. Like, think about Danny Grigsby. Nobody knew him. He went out and pulled 1,000. Was it 1,074 the first time or was that the second time? Either way, he came out there. He pulled 1,000 pounds, and people were like, "Holy shit, who's Danny Grigsby?" And all of a sudden, he's this huge name.
Yeah.
It only took one big win for everyone to flock to this.
I'm not even necessarily looking for that. I want to steal a victory away from somebody that thought they deserved it more.
Yeah.
And didn't.
Right.
you know what I mean?
There's plenty of those around.
You know what I mean? There's
not to talk shit, throw shade, but there's a lot of people who like to talk around here and like to think it is
discouraging that there's so much talking in powerlifting now.
There's not a lot of doing.
There's a lot of what also is discouraging that, you know, I've gone back and forth and had like some of these newfound respect in people that I didn't necessarily have before. And then things happen to
lose that
prove
respect.
me right. You know what I mean? Well, my first initial feeling's right, and that sucks too. But you know, the only thing I'm going to do is what I'm supposed to, and we'll win or we won't win.
Yep.
We're going to keep going until we do.
Yep.
And then keep winning after we do.
Yeah.
So it don't really matter. So we're figuring it out, and it's a good thing.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about some new programming because I'll be honest, I've got my plan, and I've been on the same plan for a while with little changes here and there, so I'm ready for a pretty big change up.
Yeah, I mean, there's things, I think you know this already based on what we talked about. There's things that we're not necessarily going to experiment with, but there's things that we may do differently than we've ever done them before. Partial of that is Joe's influence on us.
Yeah.
Some things that we've learned, some things that we just feel to be true. We were talking about squat frequency the other day. I feel like squat frequency is important when you're not an elite squatter yet.
Yep.
You know, I'm not an elite squatter yet. Even as good as Austin is at his weight class, still not an elite squatter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's some things that, like, you know, things are changing about my programming, but there's also things that we're almost going to revisit because they worked for us so well for so long, and for some reason we got away from them. And we're going to get visited again to see if we can't, you know, squeeze a little bit more juice out of that orange. I feel like, you know, but I mean, that's programming. That's what it's like to coach. I mean, that's just is what it is. You tend to overanalyze, and some things, you feel like, and then something comes along to change your mind about it. And then all of a sudden you're left wondering, you know, why you changed it all. you know what I mean? Like, and there's just, there's some things that are going to come and go, and there's just said a lot of new philosophies going to be put in, a lot of old ones coming back. I think largely it'll be a good thing. I think that I've got Austin dialed in really, really well, and his needs are different than your needs, but I think using what we know from Austin, because of both of y'all's skill level being similar, and implementing those things is going to be extremely beneficial, because I think Austin will tell you that his recovery is and his is largely still pretty linear.
Right.
And but we've done this in a way, it's undulated, but we've done this in a way that, you know, he gets some really, really heavy licks in without fucking killing himself. And we may even visit, this is more probably speaking to Austin's programming later on in the year and not so much yours. We may even end up visiting some speed work on the secondary squat and bench press days. Not in the conjugate sense, but in the sense that it's a little bit lighter and our job's going to be to fucking kill it. And, I've used this philosophy with Joey a lot too. Like, I want you to be mad that I didn't program you more weight. I want to see that on the barbell. I want to see like a little fucking hate and anger that I didn't trust you with something else.
I had that with Joe several times. I had that with Joe several times.
I want you to be upset that you got, you know, 3 reps at 355 instead of 3 reps at 405. Like I want to see it. I want to see that reflected on the barbell.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I want to, you know, those kind of things. And, you know, it's all about keeping you healthy. And that's one thing my program has moved toward more than anything. Austin had an issue with executing for a long time for me, but it's because I ran him in the fucking dirt. Now that he's on a plan that he doesn't mind executing or feels like he's capable of executing, he's thriving, you know, and that's the biggest thing. So I do program hard numbers. A lot of coaches don't like that. I'll probably do that less so with you because I trust you more than I trust any of my other lifters in terms of your perception of the weight. But I do that too because when I program a number, there's safety built into that number. If I say you got a single at 425, I know you probably have a single at 450, but we need to move this convincingly,
right,
and in a way that's not going to fry you or get you hurt. Because we're gonna guess what? In 2 weeks' time, this is 425, but in 2 weeks' time, it might be 450 on the bar.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we need to always plan for the next big thing, I guess, if that makes sense. Even when we touch that 450, we're going to be worried about what 475 looks like 2, 3, 4 more weeks from then. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just biggest thing is coaching and coaching philosophy now is just taking time to look at the big picture and not the here and now.
Yep. That was a big thing when I took over my programming after Joe. The biggest thing that I learned was kind of just like more like flowing with how you're feeling. That's why I gave myself not necessarily hard numbers all the time, but more like ranges to work with. And then as I got a little more in tune with myself, I was like, okay, so I know that I'm really capable of doing like one big set. So I'm going to build my whole, like the couple weeks prior to the big set to ramp up to it. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go up and then I come down a little bit and I'm going to go up for my big set, come down for deload. It's undulating like you were talking about with Austin, and more in a sense of like, so I know let's say I want a big set of 5 on deadlift, whatever number, we'll say 585 because that's what I did. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do 535 here for like, I don't know, or it's 545 for a couple sets of 3. And then I do 565 or 535 the week prior. I think it was 535 because it came down for 6 singles. And I'm going to do like a slow rest time.
I've undulated volume as well, basically. Yeah, absolutely.
Coming up for that.
Like, on his easy deadlift weeks, he doesn't have sets of deadlifts. He has, you know, typically 6 to 8 singles.
Yeah.
And for Austin, being you know, him and both are 700-pound deadlifters. So for y'all, it might be at 500 pounds. That's also a weight, though, that you're going to get really good stimulus and really good practice at, but it's not going to affect your ability to pull 650 the next week.
Yep.
And that's my whole philosophy with him. I mean, he just pulled 625 last night. You can watch the way that moves. That man has 700 pounds in his deadlift. There's just no need to hit 700 pounds. I mean, there's just not.
Yeah, not until it matters.
He's getting the stimulus now that he needs from submaximal lifts, and he's healthy.
Yep.
And he's healthy. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, a lot of this, too, especially with, like, more elite level lifters. I think y'all technically have elite totals now.
I don't know if I'd say elite, but
Well, I'm talking about if you look at the actual chart, not compared to everybody else on social media. You know what I mean? Like, you did it per your body weight, like, and looked at the USPA class chart. You know what I mean? I think you probably don't have international elite, but you probably have elite.
Yeah. Levels. Okay. Yeah.
And then there's pro. I think above that. Okay. Like you have international elite and then pro. Right. Y'all both probably have elite totals. like at this point with elite lifters, the best thing you can do with an elite lifter is let them be healthy on meet day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, you need all this training stimulus so that you know that they're getting better. But like, that can be quantified in so many ways. I mean, was your heaviest triple, heavier than it was the last prep we ran?
Right.
That's a great way to tell. Or did you move the same triple faster?
Mm-hmm.
Did you, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it doesn't have to be quantifiable in just weight.
Just a 1 rep max. Yeah, absolutely. Are you just healthier?
Yeah. Do you just feel better when you move it? Do you recover better after? Yeah. Like, there are so many factors that you can look at to see improvement that is not weight on the bar.
One thing, and I know we got on some tangents, so it's probably time to move to dad jokes soon, but I mean, me and you've talked about this. Our philosophy on accessory work's changed. Like, now I don't program 10 movements in a workout anymore. It's like 5 or 6, typically including a core.
Mm-hmm.
So like, we're doing on a bench press day, we're likely going to do our big bench press. We're going to do some type of secondary barbell movement because I believe in like a bent over row or something like that. Typically don't do our secondary press on the same day we press. It's typically our other press day is a secondary press. So we're not going to go bench press and then close grip immediately after. But, we'll have a secondary barbell, whether it be, you're on a 4-day split, so yours is probably going to be a back or a shoulder.
Yeah.
But then after that, we have a chest, a back, a bi, and a tri, some type of core, and we're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And we're probably going to superset bi and tri so we can get it done.
Yeah.
Then we're out. On your next press day, you're going to have your probably your secondary press, but your primary barbell, a secondary barbell, a shoulder, a back, a bi, a tri. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a very, very concise legs. We're going to do a hamstring, a glute slash quad, and a quad, and we're done. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if you want to sit around and train calves afterwards, I don't have a problem with that, but we're probably not programming it.
Right.
We're going to do something for our lower backs. We're getting out. But we're talking about, like, instead of programming 3 or 4 sets at 10 different exercises, I'm programming 4 to 6 sets, and we're just going to stay in place on that leg extension machine. Mm-hmm. That's it. That might not be your need. It might need to be a leg press. It might need to be something else. But whatever, suits your need the best, we're going to stay on that equipment, and we're going to drill that weakness. And then before we move on to the next muscle group and drill that weakness, and then we're going to be done with our workout.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that philosophy, there's still tons of hypertrophic value in that. It's custom to your needs. And all of a sudden, we're going to recover better because instead of being in a gym for 2 hours, we're in a gym for an hour. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing gets just consolidated, basically. Yeah. I mean, because as strength athletes, everything should be need-based. Mm-hmm. Your hypertrophy even should be need-based, unless it's purely off-season and you have nothing to plan for and the goal is just to get bigger, then there's a lot more room in that. But when you start contest prep, and you have an end date, whether it's 20 weeks, 16 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it may be. But as long as we're saying we're starting prep today and there's an end goal in mind, we aren't going to do more than what's necessary anymore. Yeah. And that's, me and you have come to that conclusion. But I think that's just been better across the board. Mm-hmm. It's been better for Austin. Austin has, 3 to 5 exercises a day a lot of the times.
Right.
Like, and he's out. Mm-hmm. He's the strongest he's ever been. So he's ready for the next, he's ready for the next thing.
I mean, he's recovered, like we were saying. And it's funny.
He might have 6 on upper days.
Right.
Like, lower days is 3 or 4 exercises. So
it's funny though. Like, we talk about all this stuff, like it's this new revelation. I remember Bo years ago saying, "You always want to leave something in the tank."
Yeah.
Those words are exactly what we're talking about right
absolutely.
Now. Just like leaving a little bit back. Being able to recover, there's value.
Yeah, I'll say this too. There's a ton of value in that. Also, with you and Austin, I know what you and Austin know what actual training to failure feels like. Mm-hmm. You can't necessarily do that with somebody you can't trust to know what failure feels like.
Yeah.
3 reps from failure to me and you is 3 reps from failure.
Yeah.
3 reps from failure to somebody new is, okay, this is hard. I'm quitting now.
Yeah. Or I'm starting to get sore.
There could be 10 rep difference in that.
There is blood in my legs now.
or if it's not a 10 rep difference, there may be a 50-pound difference in that. And that's a huge thing. So, like, a lot of these philosophies do depend on the person you're training.
Right.
The newer the person is, the more general fitness focused you want to be. So there's likely going to be a longer list of exercises you want them to do. But by and large, we've moved to a much more consolidated, let's get this done and let's get it out. Two things that I'm probably going to implement with you is, and you've done this with Joe, is time to rest. And time, even on your barbell stuff, like time rest and whatnot. And we're going to start, you did this with Joe some, we're going to start input training the same way I've done with Austin. That was inspired by Joe, but that's been incredibly fruitful for several athletes, not just Austin. It sucks to listen to a podcast when you're lifting and to not listen to fucking Slayer, but like you want Slayer to work for you when it's time for Slayer to work for you.
Yep.
And that's the whole idea. And the more of a tolerance you build to those things, the less it's going to work when you need them. Right now, I'm not training with any pre or any loud music. Not in my ears anyway. I might put it on the gym speaker, but I have a conversation going on with my gym partner now, and we're not.
Right.
I'm not paying attention to the music.
Noise.
Yeah, it's background noise. But those inputs are, I mean, they're real. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to make gains. Also, you know, we're moving toward more athletic style training. You did that with Joe already.
Yep.
We may change the frequency from what you did to Joe. We talked about that on squats, potentially upping your squat frequency back to probably 1.5. Let's be real. Probably not going to be a true 2 time a week barbell squat. But, you know, upping squat frequencies are going to be a huge thing. Press frequency is likely coming, but we know press frequency is something you can handle.
Yep.
Deadlift frequency we have figured out.
Once a week.
One time a week and 2 heavy a month, maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe
depending.
One. You know,
I would say like what has worked best for me is one heavy set a week or a month, excuse me. One heavy set a month has been what has worked best for me. Like we have submaximal, something to recover, and then that lift, this heavy lift. That is the formula that has worked best for me so far. Now that doesn't
I still believe in a hard deload.
Me too.
I know Joe didn't necessarily believe that. But I believe in a hard deload because I think it allows, first of all, undulating allows you to push that deload further out. Like even Austin, as strong as he is, isn't deloading until 7 or 8 weeks now.
Right.
Instead of, you know, traditionally like with the Juggernaut stuff or like Brandon Allen style program that me and you've done before, it was every 4th week regardless.
Right.
We're stopping here. But the undulating does help you maximize your time in the gym. Like you're not taking a deload every 4th week anymore. So that may be something that you'll still get a hard deload, but that may be something that's different from your programming is that we're probably going to go 6-7 weeks out before, you know.
Yeah, I've been doing every 4th, but you know, if we're undulating and I get that recovery, I don't think it's going to.
I'll keep keeping this in mind too. With Austin, we're undulating everything.
Yeah.
So he has a low press and then a heavy press, and if he deadlifts heavy, he's not squatting heavy.
Yeah.
You know, now Austin's not heavy squat is.
Still heavy.
It's still heavy. But yeah, we're not pushing boundaries if he's got a heavy deadlift that week.
Right.
That just is what it is. And I've even like, I wouldn't say lesser athletes, but athletes with less experience and less of a total than him. I've done that with everybody. It works well across the board. It really does.
And you know what's kind of funny about that is that kind of philosophy is similar to Joe's programming. Like it's not exactly the same. He doesn't necessarily up and down undulate, but he does it based on what he perceives in the videos that you send him as far as like your nervous system and how lifts look. Like, do you look like you're ready for more? And then he's either going to go up or go down. Yeah,
so I actually sat in on a seminar at the NSCA conference one time. I think me and you actually talked about it. Where the science suggests the best type of auto-regulation is like autonomous auto-regulation. Basically, you know, this is in a strength and conditioning setting, like for football, as people were tested. So they have other outside factors that a powerlifter doesn't have.
Right.
They have training. Their actual weight room is different than their actual training. Let's be honest. Their sport-specific training is still training, still counts toward their recovery. So it is separate.
Right.
But they were talking about some type of autonomous auto-regulation where basically if the athlete just feels like shit that day, just fucking throw a couple plates on the bar and
move on.
Let them practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like get the stimulus you need, get them well practiced because barbell stuff is a skill that needs to develop. We talk about that all the time. That's important and high frequency to me. It's a skill that needs practice. But like when they fill up to it, let them hit their heavy sets. Let them hit, you know what I mean? It's impossible as a powerlifting coach to control that finite with every client I have because there's 40 of y'all.
Right.
you know what I mean? But when you have a experienced athlete like Austin or yourself, like Well, listen, there's going to be times where I have a hard number program and you're just going to come to me and you're going to be like, I can't do this today. That's going to be fine. We'll move it to another week, or we'll just wait till the next big one comes. It's fine.
Right.
It's not, we're still going to get training stimulus. So I do think that some type of, but it takes an incredible amount of self-awareness that a lot of lifters just don't have yet to be able to auto-regulate to that degree.
Right.
Like, I talk often about how I don't trust people with RPE, let alone with, do I feel good enough for a heavy single today?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like 99.9% of the athletes you're going to have are never going to feel like that heavy single. Well, the problem with that is that's our sport.
Yep.
Like, you're going to have to get under it and you're going to have to find out. Feel good or not, there's going to be a point where you're going to have to set those feelings aside. But most of us know in our warm-ups, like sometimes we just get in there with a bad attitude. And by the time we get, 1 plate, 2 plate, 3 plate, 4 plates on the bar, it all feels good. We're like,
got it.
We can squat 550 today. No problem. You know what I mean? Like,
I can say this from experience. It can go on completely opposite ends of each spectrum where I would feel great coming in. I'm like, I'm going to crush this, and go terrible. And then some days I come in, I'm like, everything sucks. And I'm warming up and everything sucks. But when I get that set and I just tune in, get my head in the right place, and I tune into what I'm doing. And like that 585 I keep referencing it, but that was the aha moment for me. It was like, I got my head right, and it didn't matter that all my warm-ups sucked because I was in the zone. My body was like where it needed to be. And I just did it convincingly. So it's like,
yeah, there's just X amount of, it just requires so much honesty with yourself, honesty with your coach, and everything else to have that level of autonomous auto-regulation.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't give it to a new person.
Man, I've seen programmed RPE and said this needs to be in RPE 8, and somebody sent me a video. It's obviously an RPE 10 and a half. Like, only by the grace of God did they get it. And they're like, oh, that's Nate.
And it's like, no, it wasn't.
Buddy, you couldn't have done that 2 more reps if there was a gun to your head. Like, you would have just had your brain splattered across the wall that day. Like, sorry. I mean, like, that's just not going to happen. And then you have the opposite in the spectrum where, you program an RPE 9 and you look back and it's like an RPE 6.
Yep.
It's like, well, that sucks too, because now we don't have the stimulus that we need. Like, and there's like, I believe you were Austin if you say this is a fucking 9.
Right.
I mean, this is like gun to my head. Could I have done 10? Yeah, but like this got uncomfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that I would trust y'all with something like that, but it's very, very, very hard for most people to be truthful about. It's one reason I say, if you're going to be on an RPE based program, if your coach programs that, you almost have to, even though it's rate of perceived exertion, right? Like, that's what it's supposed to be. It's how you feel about it. I'll say this, I would trust what it looks like on the playback of the video before I've trusted my actual feelings on it. Does that make sense?
I get what you're saying.
And that's something I learned, that's something me and Ron talked about a lot. Like, hey, I only did this today because, you gave me an RPE 7, but like, just felt like shit. And then he looked back and be like, bro, that was 5.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, get your head out of your ass. You know what I mean? Like, and you do almost have to, even though it is RPE, you almost do have to take yourself out of it and look back and say, do I just have a bad attitude about this? Do I just feel a little sluggish today, or was this really as bad as I thought it was? You know what I mean? Like,
the only argument I have, and this is because this is a problem of mine, when it comes to my bench press, I can look like I have a ton in the tank, but I know my triceps give out as soon as
that's about that.
It's
that
like
point,
instant.
At that point, though, it's about the athlete knowing that because everybody moves something different. I'm a really, really slow squatter. Like, you can see me squat 225, and some people would be like, "That's fucking RPE 10 for that guy,"
right?
Because I'm just slow to descend and stuff like that. Like, that's knowing as you get adapted to an athlete as a coach, you start to know what these RPEs look like for somebody.
Joey.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It takes 15 minutes to do a set of 5 on deadlift.
On a set of everything except bench press, I think. His squat's pretty slow, too.
But it's getting better. But, sorry, Joey.
Got to give him shit.
But, I don't know. It's just, it just takes some awareness from all sides to be able to accurately judge.
Communication.
It absolutely takes a ton of communication to accurately judge a RPE.
Yeah. It's more than just how you feel.
It is. And it truly, I mean, like, I would say bar speed. And that's one reason why people like Lane, you know, he tracks his bar speed on every lift he does. Like, that's reasonable because he's a very data driven guy. Obviously, if you follow Lane Dorton, you know that. But like, if he feels like shit that day, but the data says he moves us, you know, 0.5 whatever unit he uses faster than he did the last time he did it, he can be like, oh, this is a half RPE easier than I thought it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's that kind of data. And I'm sure I know he has a coach that he sends that to too. And he's like, yeah, I mean, you probably had more. Like,
right.
You know, this was a 6.5. We needed a 7.5. You know what I mean? Like, there's hard data helps you know, with those kind of situations, but communication also helps that kind of stuff. So, I mean, you do kind of have to remove yourself from it to some degree. Dad jokes?
Dad jokes. Let's go. I already know the title of this episode is The Tangent Part 3.
The Tangent.
The Tangent Part 3. We've done 2 already. This is the 3rd episode that we've done where we've just gone off on tangents. The tangents. One day I'll get to Instagram so I can pull up.
Yeah, I know. I struggled with that too today for some reason.
Must be the alcohol.
My wife left me because I'm insecure. Oh, no, wait, she's back. She just went for groceries.
Oof.
That's me.
I told my wife that a husband is like a fine wine and we just get better with age. And the next day she locked me in the cellar.
Hell yeah. I saw a man standing on one leg at an ATM. I was confused, so I asked him what he was doing. He said, just checking my balance.
I think I said that last week.
Did you?
Or not last week, 2 weeks ago. I swear.
They just posted it 13 hours ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if they reposted it.
It may be a repost.
Oh, man. The last thing my grandfather told me was it's worth spending money on good speakers. That was some sound advice.
Astronomers got tired watching the moon go around the Earth for 24 hours, so they decided to call it a day.
Bro, I think you're getting all of my stuff.
It's one day ago. It's posted one day ago.
I swear I said that. We're going to have to find some new sources. Run out of toilet paper and having to use less leaves. Today was the tip of the iceberg. Dude.
Did you say that one too?
Yeah.
What world are we living in?
We're in the Twilight Zone right now. I was horrified when my wife told me that my 6-year-old son wasn't actually mine. Apparently, I need to pay more attention during a school pickup.
Man. All right. Well, I can't tell jokes right, so I guess that's it on the bad jokes.
I gotta get this one. This one's pretty good. So, what does a robot do after sex?
What?
He nuts and bolts.
Nuts and bolts.
All right. We can call it quits there.
Well, follow us on Instagram at Sip It and Rip It, at Coleman_Barbell, at Nathan Skedios. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave likes, comments, stuff like that. And listen to us on Spotify. Give us 5 stars. Leave some comments. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts too. All that good stuff. Maybe we need to get a guest list going since we're back in the groove of things. I don't know. But
if you want to be on the podcast, message the Sip It and Rip It page, and we will ignore you. No, I'm just
we need to bring back IG Live too, because I honestly forgot about that.
Today, but I know people have been digging that, so we should do an episode. Maybe next week we'll do that. We'll
Live
IG Live, and
that'd be a good thing. I think.
Yeah,
it'd be real good. But
at the very least, Tammy loves it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tammy loves IG Lives.
Tammy listens, and Tammy is always participating in IG Lives. Like, it's a very, very, very good thing. So
she is our #1 fan, I think. Braxton Miller.
Yep. Got a little competition.
Yep.
I know Chris Treese has been listening too. Chris is getting to be a strong motherfucker.
Yep.
Truly.
Mm-hmm.
Overhead press this week had 215 for 4 sets of 5.
Oof. It's pretty good.
He's I mean, to be 6'5", he's got some monstrously strong shoulders. I think he's gonna have a 400-pound bench press, and he has the same problem me and Nathan do. He's got chicken legs and don't squat what he bench presses. but I think he's probably gonna knock down that 405-pound squat soon too. But deadlifts are going well for him. He's super strong, so super proud of that guy.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Bye, y'all.